Everyone, I am at the Toyota Land Cruiser Heritage Museum here in Salt Lake City at the reveal of the new Toyota Land Cruiser, 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. If you've watched my stuff, you know I have a 200 series Land Cruiser. I don't know, I guess kind of particular about Land Cruisers, and there's a lot to unpack with the 200 series here. We know with the new Land Cruiser here. I know the 200 series was discontinued. The 300 series is not sold in the United States as a Toyota. Sold here as a Lexus, but I got a feeling this was coming. Toyota can't leave so much brand equity on the table as it has with the Land Cruiser brand, so something had to come back. And what has come back is a new heritage-inspired, relatively capable, I think it's midsize. It's a big midsize SUV wearing the Land Cruiser name. What's interesting here is there's kind of two different ways to look at it. There's two different ways to look at any situation. This is the new generation of the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado at its core. This is a global vehicle that Toyota was already going to redesign. Prado is kind of like the diet Land Cruiser. It's the Land Cruiser Light, whatever you want to call it. In the United States, since they're not selling the big full-size Land Cruiser that they had sold here for every other one of its generations, they are choosing to market this vehicle as the Toyota Land Cruiser. And I can see why they would do that. It's a valuable brand name, and this vehicle has many. I mean, it is sold as a Land Cruiser Prado in other markets, and it has a lot of Land Cruiser traits as a whole, and I'll do a little tour here, and I haven't given it a full analysis. It's different. Headline here, big headline, it starts at 55,000, not 90,000, almost 90,000 like the previous, like the old 200 did after it went off the market in the US. The other way to look at this is a hell of a new little four-wheel drive SUV, kind of similar to the 4Runner. There will probably be a new 4Runner. This is I think it's a more mature take on a mid-size off-roader, whereas the 4Runner is pretty youthful. And it offers a lot of the things that Land Cruiser fans have been clamoring for. Rear locker comes standard. You can get fabric seats. You can get it without a sunroof. And it has different versions and packages and options. The story with this thing is just so interesting to me as a marketing major and as someone who has worked in automotive product planning. But that aside, I will hopefully be able to do a full review of one of these in one way or another over the course of the next, 6 months. It'll probably be a little while. But let's just do a little walk around. I wrote an article, it's on the Autopian. It's a full overview of this thing with more of my thoughts and kind of that dynamic, that kind of duality of maybe not a real Land Cruiser, but a real Land Cruiser. What is a real Land Cruiser? It's just a name. But a hell of a little mid-size off-roader package. So let's do a quick tour. I will try to call out unique things. I'll try to not get into like packaging and stuff. You can read about that on my article in the Autopian or articles on any other website because there's gonna be a ton of them out there. So let's do a little walk around here of this new take on the Toyota Land Cruiser for 2024. So as of right now, there are two main trim levels. The base model has a unique name. It's the 1958, and then the standard model over there in blue is just the Land Cruiser. It's just called Land Cruiser. The trim level is just called Land Cruiser. So the 1958 is kind of the base pack, and it has some pretty good stuff. You get a rear locker standard. Here are the fabric seats. This is the kind of thing I want to call out. So you got fabric seats, and it's kind of a thick, kind of a rough fabric. I like it. I really like it. It's pretty basic, and it's kind of the thing that people want with these. Also, this one does not have a sunroof. You have not been able to get a sunroof-free Land Cruiser in the United States since a handful of them slipped in back in 1999. Like very few, but slick top Land Cruiser. So it's pretty basic. You still get a rear locker. You still get full-time four-wheel drive, low range, 8-inch infotainment screen. There's that. There's the volume knob there. You don't get, on the base model, multi-terrain select, but you do get crawl control. That's right there. So here's your mode select. These aren't turned on, so I don't know what mode select really does. But the switchgear, like I said, I own a 200 series. The switchgear is pretty incredible in that vehicle. It's built to a really, really high standard. It's a luxury vehicle with a Toyota badge on it. This isn't a luxury vehicle, but it does feel durable. Dashboard is a squishy, rubbery material. Moving along, like the door panels are pretty hard, so this feels like about the same grade as the 4Runner, and a lot of people have 4Runners, and a lot of people love them. Just understand that when you think about this vehicle, it's an off-roader for the masses, which the old Land Cruiser wasn't really, the 200 series, the full size, wasn't ever really for the masses in the United States. Now this is, just like the Land Cruiser Prado is all over the world. So pretty cool that we've got this vehicle here, and it's always good to have competition, and this will certainly make things more competitive in the very fun midsize 4x4 body on frame market. Another interesting thing, the seats still fold down just like they did in the 200 over the past couple generations. Something really I don't like back here, we'll get to that in a minute, but you've even got the strap for strapping the seat to the grab handle here, so that's fun. Pretty basic with the fabric seats. I mean, I've been in a couple fabric seat 80 series models. I mean, they're all over the place here, and it's fun, and this is reminiscent of that, so we'll allow ourselves to enjoy that. USB-C, what is that? DC, and then air vents. I was also counting the number of places. My Land Cruiser only says Land Cruiser on it on the rear. That's one place. I like that. I don't like a lot of like marketing and branding too much. This says it here. It says it there on the dashboard, and then it does say it at the rear. Here's the rear. It reminds me a lot. The hatch is hinged at the top, so it's not quite like the old Prado and the GX, which is essentially just a Prado in luxury form. You get a top hinged rear hatch with opening glass here, so that's handy. I miss the tailgate. That's probably that's probably the number one thing that will cause me to keep my 200 series for forever. But it's a hatch, so it's more normal in that sense. The 4Runner has the roll down rear window. This doesn't have that, but it does have glass that lifts up, so you don't always have to be accessing the cargo area via the hatch. And then this is a pretty standard cargo area back here, except for this. Not loving this hump right here. In my old 100 series, I used to just flip the seats down and sleep in the back, but this hump extends. Oh, maybe we can. The hump is the whole cargo floor is raised, so the floor for the second row is lower than the floor for the cargo area. So you couldn't really sleep back here without building something, and even, well, maybe. Could you do this? Hold on. Could you just fold this? Maybe. Could you just fold the seat back down? Not really, because the seat back now sits up higher than the cargo area with the seat back folded down. So I ran into this problem with the G-Wagon. You can't get a flat floor, which is unfortunate, and I don't understand why this is here. This is weird. Even the Defender doesn't have this. Grand Cherokee doesn't have this, so yeah, kind of an unfortunate packaging thing. 2400 watt 120 volt AC inverter back here. The vehicle is standard as a hybrid, which is cool, but I'm not sure if you can tap into that hybrid battery from back here, like when the vehicle is turned off. That would be really great if you could, but I'm betting that you can't, because they did not make a big deal about this in the marketing materials or the press release for the vehicle. So there's that. Just hop inside here. So 8-inch screen. Here's another look at the steering wheel. So fully digital gauge cluster. It's kind of a small screen, but that's okay. We don't need huge screens. There's a button for that AC inverter, which tells me that it's probably not active when the vehicle is turned off. It might be a ridiculous thought to think that it would be. Circular air vents. No sunroof, like I said. Let's check out the regular Land Cruiser trim. So this one is this blue color. You can look up what exactly it's called, and it has a gray contrasting roof. This one has slightly bigger tires than that one, but you might swap out the tires regardless. Both of them say Toyota up front here. The front end of this one's less plasticky. I like the front end of that one a little bit better. You get rigid fog lights that are just, I mean, those are tiny. For DOT reasons, you can't really put like high-powered fog lights in vehicles. These are just kind of like rigids and branding only. They're probably pretty clear, and apparently you can change the color. I don't know much about that, but there's a thing. Square headlights on the Land Cruiser trim. Circular headlights on the 1958. There's going to be a first edition that has circular headlights as well. You get roof rails on this one. You can put roof rails on the other one. Around back, it's almost the same. This bit is body colored, and the other one, that bit is plastic across the back. Kind of looks like a Honda Passport from that angle. Not much else. These are light all-terrain tires, like very light all-terrain tires. I like that they're not doing any extra branding with this. No TRD, no Trail Hunter, so that's good. Looks like there's someone in it right now. Let's just take a look at the upholstery. It's brown. Okay, it looks like we're free. So you've got brown leather seats with a thigh extender, which is really cool. Press release, I don't think mentioned that, so that's something you learn in person here. You get paddle shifters on this one as well. No paddle shifters on the base model over there. 12-inch infotainment screen. It doesn't even turn on. Then the volume knob is, at least there's a volume knob. It seems like they maybe added that in after the fact, but we're glad that they did. And then there's your multi-terrain select button and camera system that isn't on the other one, ventilated seats that isn't on the other one. The switchgear feels pretty good. And there's the center console storage bin that, I think on my 200 series, this is a refrigerator. No refrigerator in this one. You shouldn't expect that at the $55,000 price point. And then running boards, and then there's the sunroof. So it's not a panoramic unit, which is great. I took a Defender off-road about 40 miles a little while back, and the panoramic sunroof was extremely noisy and concerningly rattly. So this is for the best for sure. So a little more detail inside of the normal trim level. I don't know, standard trim level. You get a heads-up display, full screen. Gauge cluster is a full screen. Brown on the door panels. This is a little bit nicer, I think. Yeah, listen, it's a 4Runner grade Land Cruiser, which is still a really compelling product. So there's our first look at the reimagined 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. I don't think I'm going to be selling my 200 series for one of these. They seem to be inherently different vehicles. I think this vehicle is really great for the market, the overall vehicle market. I think it's going to get a lot of other people interested in Land Cruisers. Maybe, who knows, down the road it might get us to a point as a car buying public that we might be able to fully appreciate the full-size Land Cruiser again. And I don't know, maybe things could get interesting there if that became the case. But overall, off the top of my head, I can think of 3 friends who should go put a deposit on one of these right now, because it's kind of like the perfect vehicle for a lot of people. 4Runner's old. 4Runner will probably be redesigned, I don't know, in a couple years. I think this has probably pushed it back. Focus will be on this for a little while. I don't know what becomes of the 4Runner after this. I could see it gaining some Jeep Wrangler and Ford Bronco like features. I don't know, it's just a guess. But for now, this will be the focus. It's everything a mainstream mid-size 4-wheel drive vehicle should be. And it comes from a company with a lot of history in that area. So that's the new Land Cruiser. This is a Land Cruiser video, so I could make this an hour long if I wanted to. But I'm gonna try not to talk too much, and I think that about does it. So that's the new reimagined, sold elsewhere as a Land Cruiser Prado, 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser. Thank you for watching.